What's going on, everybody? Brian here from Brian's Broadcast. I hope all of you are doing fantastic. Guys, today I'm going to review the first ever BDK fragrance in my collection. And I asked my good French friend, his name is Jerome Strauss. Go ahead and check out his Instagram and YouTube channel. He's a very good friend. So, of course, I asked him, Jerome, how do you pronounce this thing? BDK this thing. And he was very happy to help me out because, of course, he's French. And please excuse my rusty French pronunciation. The fragrance name is called Sel D'Argent. I hope I got that correct. Jerome, I hope I got it correct, man. I hope I did not butcher the name. So this particular fragrance, Sel D'Argent from BDK, it's a wonderful spring to summer fragrance. But of course, if you know me personally, if you've been following me long enough, you know I love wearing fresh fragrances in the cold months, in the cooler months. So let me quickly read out the notes to you from the BDK website, and I'm going to tell you all about Sel D'Argent. Now on the top, you've got Italian bergamot, grapefruit, and salted accord. On the mids, you have orange blossom, ylang ylang, galbanum, and on the base, you've got ambroxan, cashmeran, timber silk, and white musk. Now, up front, I will tell you one thing. I was not expecting such a great performance, long-lasting power from a fresh fragrance, Sel D'Argent. Sel D'Argent. Yeah, sorry. So, yeah, this particular fragrance, in my opinion, it's a beautiful fragrance. I mean, if you are walking into like a store and then you're wondering, what should I get? And should I invest in some other fragrance, a fresh fragrance, because of the upcoming summertime, I would highly recommend that you look out for good deals on Sel D'Argent, because this fragrance literally blew my mind. First off, like I said, the lasting power is huge. Like, it projects loud. It's an eau de parfum. It projects pretty loud. It's got a very long-lasting power. Now, how much performance are we talking about? And I'm discussing all those things because typically fresh fragrances tend to live less on your skin. I'm talking about easy 8 to 9 hours on an average. And that was with like 8 to 10 sprays. Now, guys, trust me, this fragrance has all the good quality stuff. I mean, you can feel the quality on this. Let's talk about Sel D'Argent and how does it smell. So from what I can understand, Sel D'Argent kind of, I think Sel means salt, D'Argent, I did not look into that, so please forgive me. But I'll tell you something. There's almost nothing too salty about this fragrance. It's not salty. Although it says salt, it's supposed to be aquatic, fresh. But it's not too aquatic, not the typical aquatic vibe that you should be getting, but it's very nice smelling. Now, of course, when you hear the terms or notes where you see bergamot and grapefruit, you're expecting it to be like all the zesty kind of stuff. It's not that zesty bergamot grapefruit combination. Now, the grapefruit and bergamot over here works in conjunction, kind of like opens up a tad bit spicy from the grapefruit, and the bergamot is kind of like the fruitiness, but it's a tad bit sharp. Now, with the salted accord, I did not pick up too much of saltiness. Like, I almost never got any saltiness, but of course I got this airy vibe. So the fragrance opens up a bit airy, fresh, uplifting, a tad bit spicy, and a tad bit like a fruity bergamot vibe. That was it. Drying down, this fragrance smells really good. This is where things get interesting. Like, this is around the 3 to 4 hours mark where the florals come off. Now, if you have noticed, like, it's got quite a few florals. It's got orange blossom, ylang ylang, and galbanum. Now, let me tell you something. The ylang ylang, the galbanum, and the orange blossom, they will not come off like in individual notes. Like, you will not be, at least my nose did not pick them up individually. What I felt was there was a burst of fresh, light florals, which is again airy, but it's not too dense and heavy. But I want to give it a pause right here, because there were two fragrances that Sel D'Argent reminded me of. This thing reminded me heavily towards the mids. This one reminded me heavily of White Sands from Amar Oud. This is where floral saltiness, like it just comes into play so nicely. But remember, this one is a bit more lighter. It's on the airy side, whereas this one is a more dense, opulent, and way more like kind of like in your face kind of thing. This thing is very potent. Amar Oud is very potent. It's very dense and rich, whereas this one is a bit more lighter, airy. But do not be mistaken when I say lighter and airy. What I try to mean is the type of smell it emits is a bit more on the lighter side. It's not too dense. Does not become cloying. Whereas if you spray too much of this one, this becomes very cloying. This one does not. Now, the florals are not too much pronounced. It's not like one of your super feminine florals. It's very nice, refreshing, light. It's like gives you that soothing sensation. Now, the beautiful like the citruses, they open up a bit later. Like it does not work immediately. It dries down. The fragrance keeps drying down with that florals. First that airy, fresh opening, the florals, and then slowly this particular fragrance dries down into something. There's a little surprise. Don't go away. Sel D'Argent, kind of towards the dry down, smells like a very niche version of Bleu de Chanel's, like the opening where you get that wonderful citrus incense combination. This one dries down into something like this. And I would say, in my personal opinion, it's one of the best feelings. Trust me. It's not exactly like this one, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say here. Like, if this is something that you liked, this one, BDK Sel D'Argent, will remind you heavily of this one, especially the opening part. And it's so creamy, it's so elegant, and this is where BDK shines. Like, it's almost like a niche version of the opening from Bleu de Chanel. And this is the EDP version. I have the EDP version. I love this one. This one works better on my skin. But BDK Sel D'Argent, like with all that ambroxan, cashmere. Now the ambroxan is not too much. It's there, but it's not too pronounced. So, if you don't like ambroxan, this is something you might want to try out because it's not too much. It's there, and it's not there, like something like that, but it's not too pronounced. Like, not like Dylan Blue and stuff like that. But the cashmere and the timber silk, I don't know what timber silk is, but I guess it's some kind of a silky smoothness about it. And the white musk is one of that creamy musk. That's what I felt. That's why I said, like, the citruses, like it just sipped all the way from the top to the base. Like, it's coming all the way from the top to the bottom, and it just filters. And this one dries down into a very creamy niche version of this one's opening. Only the opening part, not the dry down. It's a beautiful feeling. Great stuff. Lasting power, like I said, 8 to 9 hours easily with 8 to 10 sprays. Beautiful stuff. The atomizer is phenomenal. It's one of those pressurized ones, so it's like it's almost like a spray paint can. Beautiful stuff. Great distribution on this one. Great stuff. I mean, summertime, this thing's gonna smell so good. Like, and also because like how this thing is not too overbearing. So of course, during the warmer months when it's too humid, you will be able to use it in bigger quantities, but it's not going to offend anybody. Trust me on this one. I used it during the cooler months here in New York City. It smelled phenomenal. Of course, when you're inside the office, inside your house, it's warmer. This thing kind of wafts out really loud. And like I said, until it has reached the very base of it, you will not feel the opulent, the rich creaminess. So it's very light, very mild, but at the same time, it pronounces itself, it projects quite a lot. So like I said, performance is 8 to 9 hours on average with 8 to 10 sprays. Beautiful stuff. Projection is around 1 to 1.5 hours, super loud, after which it comes down to like an arm's length. Leaves a wonderful scent trail, very pleasant, good stuff. And like I said, if you do find a good deal on Sel D'Argent, must try out. This is BDK Sel D'Argent. That was my honest and humble opinion about this fragrance. Let me know in the comments which other BDK fragrance do you have, which one is a more safer blind buy. Let me know in the comment section below. I will be happy to hear recommendations from you. So until the next video, guys, please take care, stay safe, and all the best.